This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Remember when Donald Trump couldn't stop talking about how rich he was? How he didn't need your money. He didn't need the American people's money to fund his campaign in 2016. He was going to do it himself. I'm self-funded. I'm self-funded. I'm self-funded. Blah, 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 blah. And it was a lie. He was not self-funded. He took people's money. He funded his campaign through the hard work and sweat and treasure of MAGA Americans all across the country. It should have been the very first red flag, alarm bell sounding, ringing in the heads of hardworking conservatives all across the country when the guy they revered lied right to their faces. But it was just a pattern. Well, since then, we're 7 years in now, or 6 years in and change. Donald Trump is now funneling money from his campaign into a PAC so he can pay his legal bills, his mounting legal bills. So not only are conservatives with jobs who pay taxes, not only are they funding his campaign, which he said wouldn't happen, they're now funding his legal defense against the series of legal threats to his very freedom. And the amount, which used to be like 1%, has been ratcheted up to 10% of the incoming political donations. Imagine being a MAGA moron, a Republican voter, and being okay with this, being stolen from. I'm going to read from this New York Times article. As legal fees mount, Trump steers donations into PAC, Political Action Committee, that has covered them. A previously unnoticed change in Donald Trump's online fundraising appeals allows him to divert a sizable chunk of his 2024 contributions to a group that has spent millions to cover his legal fees. Look, a lot of people, they come at me with like, does this shock you? This is something we already knew. Yeah, I get it. That is meaningless. That is not a contribution to the conversation. Even though we know how gullible conservatives and Republicans are, Trump voters are, this is still an alarming response of like mass psychosis. People who ignore plain, clear facts and evidence of this man being a liar and a grifter and a charlatan, and they don't care. And not only do they not care, they will give of their money to support him. Facing multiple intensifying investigations, former president, ex-president Donald Trump has quietly begun diverting more of the money he is raising away from his 2024 presidential campaign and into a political action committee that he has used to pay his personal legal fees. The change, which went unnoticed except in the fine print of his online disclosures, raises fresh questions about how Mr. Trump is paying for his mounting legal bills, which could run into millions of dollars as he prepares for at least 2 criminal trials, and whether his PAC, Save America, is facing a financial crunch. So, not only is he not paying his lawyers with the money that people are donating, he's now asking for more money to put into a coffer, of which he may not use to pay the lawyers. So what's he doing with the money? When Mr. Trump kicked off his 2024 campaign in November, for every dollar raised online, 99 cents went into his campaign, and a penny went to Save America. But Internet archival records show that sometime in February or March, he adjusted that split. Now, his campaign share has been reduced to 90% of donations, and 10% goes to Save America. The effect of that change is potentially substantial. Based on fundraising figures announced by his campaign, the fine print maneuver may already have diverted at least $1.5 million to save America. And the existence of the group has allowed Mr. Trump to have his small donors pay for his legal expenses rather than paying for them himself. Now, many of you may ask, how is this legal? Well, American campaign finance laws are a nightmare. The fact that a political candidate can take money and really, with very little restriction, do with it as they please is a problem. It is a poisonous effect on politics in America. And here, there's two more paragraphs here that kind of go into it. The different rules governing what political action committees and candidate campaign committees can pay for are both dizzying and somewhat in dispute. But generally, a PAC cannot spend money directly on the candidate's campaign, and a campaign committee cannot directly pay for things that benefit the candidate personally. So this is where it gets real greasy, real gross, is taking campaign donations, and at the point of sale, they're splitting them so that it's not like you're getting all the money and then the candidate gives it to the PAC. They're splitting it at the point of sale so that they can run this scam, so that they can take that money and pay for Donald Trump's legal fees and whatever else is going to benefit the candidate. One more paragraph. For more than a year before Mr. Trump was a 2024 candidate, Save America has been paying for bills related to various investigations into the former president and his allies. In February 2022, the PAC announced that it had $122 million in its coffers. So not only are they paying for Donald Trump's legal fees, they're also, I believe, in an effort to keep people quiet, to keep people docile, to keep people loyal to Trump, also funding their legal defenses. You think Walt Nauta is going to pay for his legal defense? The guy who's paid to give Donald Trump his Diet Coke when he pushes his button? Come on. Look, we need a sea change in American politics. We need politicians who are not only brave enough to get the job done, who are smart enough to get the job done, but have the political will to do so, who have a level of aggressiveness in them to clean house. For as much talk as there is about the swamp here in Washington, D.C., it's not Republicans who are attempting to get rid of it. In fact, they are throwing up roadblocks left and right for years to do something about the swamp that is Washington, D.C., and the politics that surround it. What do you think? I'd love to know. I know I don't have too many MAGA watchers. Maybe it's all the insults. But I'd love to know what you think about this. 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 500,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're marching along. We're getting close, but we are not quite there. And it's only with your help that I'm going to be able to do that. If you'd like to support my work other than subscribing and commenting and liking and doing all the YouTube stuff, click the join button below, see what's involved in becoming a channel member, click the super thanks button below, or even better yet, go over to Patreon. Go to patreon.com/IDoubtIt Follow me on social media. I'd love to see you there. I'm at Dollemore, just about everywhere that there's social media, and I will see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.